My name's Genevieve Olson, and this is my Stillwater story for His glory. So, my journey started out at Stillwater when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I can't quite remember it, but I know that we were in and out on Sundays, attended a couple of the youth events and kids events, and of course, Easter and Christmas. And then I did attend one youth camp, Mount Lebanon, when I was about 10 or 11. That is when I first vividly remember giving my life to Christ. I remember that it was real for me, and I don't quite remember the details. Shortly after I was baptized, coming out of that, a lot of things kind of started happening in my life. Things started going kind of downhill, and I blamed a lot of that on God. My home life was a little unstable. I never really knew what alcoholism was until I saw it affect my dad heavily. From any age that I could remember, my dad was addicted to alcohol, and it kind of controlled his life heavily. Things got kind of scary, but glory to God that he gave my mom a way out. My mom just dedicated her life to me and my brother and really tried her best to get us out of that situation, and thank the Lord that he did. He got us out, and we started going through like middle school and things, and I just couldn't quite navigate what was happening. And at a young age, I think I was about 16 maybe, I started getting introduced to alcohol and drugs. I desperately wanted to fill this void in my chest that I couldn't explain. From all the hurt and the confusion, I just started filling it with things that weren't of God. I started drinking heavily. I started getting introduced to marijuana about 18 years old, and I let it control my life and take over. I felt like it numbed me, and it was just a way to escape. And I became like enchained and entrapped in drugs and alcohol. When I was about 19 or 20, alcohol and drugs completely consumed my life. I became really suicidal really fast. I dropped out of school. My grades were tanked. I didn't really see a future because I didn't want to live anymore. Life just didn't feel real to me, and I didn't really want to be here. I remember sitting in my room one night and I was just crying. I never really considered suicide. I had suicidal thoughts, but I never truly considered taking my life. And I remember sitting on the floor of my room and just like crying out to whoever would listen. I believed in God, but I didn't necessarily believe he was good. And I remember just crying out to him and asking him for his grace and mercy. And I didn't hear his voice audibly. I just felt this like hug kind of consume me, and I just sat there and cried for about an hour. And my head was spinning. I was really confused, but I knew it was God, and I knew he had me in that moment. And so I went downstairs and I told my mom that, hey, I really want to go to church. I think God is wanting me to go to church, and I don't know where, but I know we need to go. And my mom's face like lit up, and she knew that I've been struggling for a really long time, and she knew that I was ready. We went to Stillwater. It was right down the street. I remember the first time we walked up, I was greeted by Barry and Jerry. And I knew right then that I was coming back. Barry hugged me, and I just felt the Lord in that hug, and I felt the Lord tell me that he had me. We walked in. I don't remember the first sermon like vividly. I just knew that we needed to come back. A month into coming back, Pastor Kurt gave a sermon on hardened hearts. And I've never felt like this before, but I felt like God was like directly speaking to me through Kurt. And it was just word for word exactly what I needed to hear. And I felt my heart just like opening up a little bit. And Kurt called an altar call, and I just ran up there. Like I remember just standing up and kind of being like, whoa, did I just stand up? I ran up there, I bowed to my knees, and I just cried out to the Lord. And in that moment, I felt like I kind of rededicated my life to the Lord. And now, who would have thought? I'm in the kids ministry heavily. I'm in the youth ministry heavily, and I'm just walking day in and day out. I'm also on the worship team. I never would have thought that I'd be worshiping the Lord in front of people and just being vulnerable and like letting people see my heart for the Lord. Um, and I'm doing that every day, and I'm just glory to God that He pulled me out and completely changed my life for the better.